Hey guys, it's Anne. Welcome to my home worm farming channel. If you're new here, I do different kinds of worm farms and different kind of worms. And this bin, which as you can tell has got some dry stuff on top, is my African night crawlers in a Vermibag Little Mammoth. I actually just threw the castings that I harvested last time on top because they really just kind of got over dried and they need to be refreshed. So if you have questions, feel free to put them down below. Everybody will be nice and answer them for you, as will I. We are looking in on this and a project that I started the last time where I put a queen size sheet in here, and I'm going to pull it back here. You can actually see worms right here with my finger, but what you can see are an enormous amount of mites. Like, I have never seen this many mites, and a lot of you might be like, oh my god, that's the worst thing ever. Not really. The population of helper critters comes and goes when they're needed, and apparently one needs a ton of mites in order to take care of a queen size sheet. So it didn't have like massive holes like this, but you can see there's a worm sitting on there. And these are very small African night crawlers. It's because I don't feed them worm chow very often, that they stay pretty slow and small. So let me try and turn this over where you can see the previous feeding. There was some pumpkin and there was the sheet. I think it was kind of a mistake to put it in such a serious layer, but I'm gonna mix it up now and bury this a little bit better so that there's more contact. So you can see that the castings that I put in there are very, very dry, but if I dig down below, the moisture is still not great, honestly. It's been probably 4 or 5 weeks since I've looked in on this system, so it has not had the TLC that I have been, that I would like to have given it. But what we're gonna do right now is we're going to mix everything up. We're gonna give it a good size feeding, and then possibly even add some water, which I think is completely warranted. I think it really truly is too dry. It's not just the top. So I'm going to make sure that especially the sheet gets buried in the corner here as opposed to putting it on the top. Putting the food on the top and not having a good cover for it has created a bit of a bug problem. So I'm gonna cover that up, try and get a lot of contact area with the castings. So we'll run this as kind of a left-right project. I'm gonna put all that on top of there. And then I'm definitely gonna have to probably add about 1 gallon or 4 liters of water to this. So on this other side here, what I'm gonna do is flatten it out, and we're gonna give them a good amount of food, and pretty wet food. People ask me, how do I manage moisture? Most of the time I manage it with adding wet additions or dry additions. This bag is a little bit more difficult because, quite honestly, it's made out of fabric and it dries out pretty quickly. If I'm traveling a lot for work, sometimes it's not enough. So I need to really kind of go over the top with keeping it moisturized, which can drip through, but that's okay. There's a mortar tray underneath to catch the drips. Alrighty, my son has given me some of his scraps. Yeah, the eggshells are going to take a lot in that shape for them to break down, but that's totally fine. They can get sifted and put back in the top. That doesn't belong there. You might be looking for that. All right, so we got coffee, eggshells, onions, peppers. That appears to be all he eats. Well, a little bit of pasta. But that seems about right. Eggs, coffee, onions, peppers. Eggs, yeah, that's it. All right, so I'm gonna get some bedding. It's dry bedding, but we're gonna put water on top of it in order to make this whole system a lot better. I'm going to fill it all the way up to the top first. And then we're gonna get the water. Okay, back with the water, and quite honestly, I'm gonna add 2 gallons because it is that dry. I have my mortar tray in place ready to catch the drips, but I just really think I'm gonna need to flood it in order to get it back on track. I've just been traveling for work a lot, and quite honestly, it's been neglected to the point where I don't think it's recoverable without really hosing it. I don't normally do that with a bin, but in cases like this, you do have to take extreme measures. Sometimes everybody's got a life, and sometimes it gets in the way of being the best worm mom in the world, right? And although I feel guilty, the worms are fine. They stayed in that one area that was completely wet with the sheet, and they stayed safe. So the worms are fine, but the bin as a whole really just needed to get flooded. And that is what I'm gonna do. And I will probably continue to monitor this in the next hour or 2 and possibly even add more water. Or if the water drips out at the bottom, I'll add it back to the top. So what mistakes have you made in your worm bins, and how did you solve them? Put that in the comments below. If you like this system or the African night crawlers, I have a playlist right over there. And if you've already seen that, YouTube thinks you're gonna like this video right over here. All right, guys, thanks for hanging out with me and my worms, and everybody have a good day.